Hello, everyone. Hi. Good afternoon. It is actually afternoon now, 12:30. Just gone 12:30 on till Wednesday the 6th of November. I hope everyone is well. When you pop on, please say hello. I see Ronnie's here. Ronnie said hi, but I'm not sure where everyone else is. Probably off enjoying this beautiful day. We have gorgeous, gorgeous sunny weather here today, so it's just beautiful. And it is a different time for me to be live. I've just started doing scrapbooking videos again. I haven't done them for a long, long, long time, and so this is kind of a new format, a new thing for me to play around with. Hey, Denise. Oh, thank you so much, honey. Hey, Katrina. Nice to see you. Good. We've got a few people popping on. So I'm expecting these to be a little quieter than our regular card making ones that we do Friday, Sunday, and Tuesdays. But there's lots of things that you can learn that you could also apply to card making when it comes to scrapbooking. And I thought I'd have a little play with something different today. So yeah, those rankings came out this morning, Denise, and I was actually in what they call a watch party. So I actually was watching it on my screen, somebody else's screen. We were all watching together, and it was a group of demonstrators that I'm really good friends with in the US. Was there anyone who wasn't US? No, I think I was the only one that wasn't US. Pretty sure. I think that's right. So but it was really fun to watch, and a lot of them were also in the lists for the US lists, and it was so exciting to watch their names come up and see how excited everyone was to congratulate each other. So the rankings are kind of a funny thing. They used to do global rankings once upon a time, but it wasn't really fair, and I think that's probably why they stopped it, because it's not really comparing apples with apples. The markets are different, the price points are different. Some markets have certain products that other markets don't have, and it wasn't fair to rank everybody against each other under those circumstances. So it's much more fair in your own country, and just knowing how you're going with your peers in your own country. I think that's a good idea. Hey, Roz, nice to see you. Hello, hello. So today I'm doing scrapbooking, which is something that I've only just started doing videos with this again. I do scrapbooking classes and have done them for many years. But now that we have so many more scrapbooking products coming out, after Close to My Heart, ladies have joined Stampin' Up ladies. So now we have all these new scrapbooking products. And I'm just actually going to be playing around today with I'm going to be just playing around with our regular Stampin' Up products, except I'm going to throw something that was a Close to My Heart item in. And you probably saw from the title of the YouTube video that we're going to play around with flip flaps. Who doesn't even know what flip flaps are? Shall I start there? Let's switch over to the desk, and we'll get going on this. We've got a few different kinds of flip flaps, different measurements, and so forth. I'm actually going to use the big ones today, and I've not used these before myself. So you can see they've still got the Close to My Heart branding on them, although Stampin' Up is currently selling off everything that's Close to My Heart branded, and soon it will be Stampin' Up branded. So I know, so excited for Susan, Denise. How good was that? Last year she was 29 last year. She's had the most amazing year. Just incredible. So I was very, very excited to see her results. And, she and I work really closely together. We are accountability buddies. I try and keep her on track, and she tries to keep me on track. And quite often, we're very good for each other, and we give each other a lot of encouragement. So to see her do so well, I'm just so excited for her. So it's amazing. You haven't scrapbooked forever, Jennifer. That's okay. Well, now we have all these new products, and it's fun to show you what we have. So flip flaps are the latest thing, and these are new for me. I hadn't played with these before. Let me just grab out one of the small sizes. Didn't think to do that. I should have. What have I done with those? So we have different ones. I've only got two sizes at the moment. I've got the 4x4s. Actually, I don't even know what I've done with them temporarily, but the ones I'm using today, oh no, here they are. Found them. These are the 4x4s. Okay, so basically these and these are the same, just different sizes. Okay, and I've got a page that I can show you, and I have showed this once before, I think. This is an example of, this is the first time I ever used a flip flap. You can see I've got this page here. It's me and my husband on the trip to Mexico with Stampin' Up last year. And I've got, a picture of me here on the beach. And then I've got hubby and me on the same beach. And then this is the flip flap. Okay, so this is actually a great way of adding extra photos to your pages without overloading your pages with photos. So I've got an extra piece here. I could have put another photo under here if I wanted to, but I didn't. I decided to use this as a journaling block. You can use as many of these as you like. So you can add more than one to a page if you want to. But you'll notice that the thing about this is it's on the outside of the page. Okay, so the flip flap has this adhesive strip. I don't know if you can see it right here. Okay, and I've actually got that sort of folded over, adhered down onto my page protector. Okay, not onto the page itself. So the page still, you can see the page just pops out like this. And without that, it actually looks kind of maybe a little plain. But then when you add that extra dimension of the flip flap, okay, it goes over the top. I've done a little bit of stamping up here, a little bit of stamping on here. I've added some elements to this. So it's a very simple page, but it gives you a great way of adding extra photos. Oh, good. Oh, that's okay. I'm wanting to do these scrapbooking videos, Ronnie, once a month. I'm trying to do them the first Wednesday of each month. So if you like these, let me know and I'll keep doing them. So, yeah. It's a really cool thing. Hello, Maureen. Nice to see you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful for that. But, I'd be nowhere without all you guys. It's my community that helps me do this and makes it happen. Sure, I do put in the work, but it's really you guys that make this all happen for me, and I would be nowhere without you. So please understand that I'm very, very grateful for everything that both my team and my customers do for me. It's an amazing thing. And the community, there are people who will never purchase from me, but they're part of my community because they watch my lives, they say hello, and that's great too. I just love how this all works together. So thanks, Sue. I really appreciate it. All right, so you can see this is, and I used some of the Country Woods paper for this one. Super simple little scrapbooking page. I did this for class last month, and I introduced them to flip flaps because they'd never seen them either. So these are the 4x4s, the same as the one you just saw used on that page. So the actual size of a photo that you're putting in is the 4x4, and that would fit neatly inside that. Okay, and when you open them, let's just open one up. Little Ziploc bags they come in. Okay, you see they've got this adhesive sheet here which peels off. It's very sticky. This is the bit that attaches to the outside, and then that folds down, and then you can see you've got a pocket here. Can everyone see that we've got a pocket there? So that piece, if I want to have my photo here, that piece is going to fold down, and then I've got a pocket that I can slide my photo in and out. Okay, so that's how it works. Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much. All right. I know I'm not going to be looking at the comments the whole way through because I'm going to be working. So if you guys say stuff and I miss the comments, I do apologize. So today I wanted to use this one because this is an 8x12. So this one has the adhesive right down the side here. I guess you could go that way too. It could go across, but I thought I'd have mine on the side. And I've got some photos that I've picked out that I'd like to scrapbook. And normally I would not put four photos on one scrapbook page. I might do a double layout and have 2 on each page perhaps. But because I've got the flip flaps, it's kind of an alternative to a double layout, which is really cool. So you can add this extra as an extra page, and we can put some photos on here and some photos on our main page, so we're not overcrowding the photos on the page. So that's why they're so great, okay, because you can really cut down what you're doing. Like, you can all have it as contained on one page, but we've got plenty of extra room for our photos, if that makes sense. All right, so let me grab this. So I've gone through all my Mexico photos and pulled out some more that I really wanted to scrapbook. And I pulled out some that are by the pool. And I thought that's probably a nice thing to put on the page, by the pool. And you'll notice I had a couple here. We went swimming in this beautiful pool and we sat on these little deck chairs here in the water. Super nice. And that's the same pool. They're those deck chairs over there looking out towards the ocean. You can see the ocean in the background. Just a beautiful. And under here, can you see this like cover Under here is a beautiful restaurant, okay, and I've got photos of me and Susan having sipping cocktails and things at the restaurant. Super nice. And then I've also got this one here. This is actually the view out our window. And I'm going to talk colors and things in a minute, okay? This is the view out of our balcony, which is really nice. So up the steps here, and we did, you know, like the hospitality room that Stampin' Up puts on was up these steps, and then came down around here, and there was restaurants. And this is another pool. So this is another pool, a little bit further down from this one. They had so many pools, I lost count. I actually don't know how many pools I had, but it was pretty cool. Yes, that's what we're doing. We're doing a 12 by 12 page, Sue. And then this one of me by the pool, okay? And I like this photo because it was early in the morning. So it was, I don't think my husband was even out of bed yet. I decided to get up and go for a walk. And my dress actually matches the color of the water. So that actually is kind of good. So that was, you know, that was just part of our trip. Now, you can put landscape and portrait photos on the same page, but I tend to avoid that. I prefer the look of, you know, portrait photos going together and landscape photos going together. Like I said, you don't have to do that, but that's just a personal preference. So because of that, I'm probably going to put these two pieces together, and I'm probably going to put these two together, okay? And something, if I end up overlapping my photos, I would normally pick the one to overlap that's got less going on. Now, there's a lot of water down here in the front, and I can see, I mean, if I want the water to be my main focus, then I probably wouldn't cover it up, but I probably will end up covering this up because everyone knows that what's here is water, okay? And if ever you have like something going on in the corner of a photo that you want to hide, that's a great place to overlap, okay? So just remember that you can do that. All right, I'm going to pull these off and we're going to talk about colors. Now, you might notice the colors in here, all right, for the most part, there's this, you know, beautiful bright turquoise blue of the water, okay, but it's more on the, if everyone knows the color Azure Afternoon, it's more of that. And then this one here, there's some balmy blue here in the sky, and then we have some turquoisey color in the water here, which to me is close to Summer Splash. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking about that. And then here in this one, definitely Summer Splash going on here in my dress and also in the water. And then this one's got more of the blues. We've got a bit of both because we've got that beautiful Azure Afternoon color, but we also, and balmy blue in the sky a little bit, but we also have some of the Summer Splash here in the lower, the shallow part of the water. So we've got some good choices here. When I was starting, I always do, when I do my scrapbook classes, I do one page on white and one page on a color. That's just been my default that I've worked with. It's a good formula. It works well for me. So I usually start with a piece of basic white 12 by 12 piece of paper. And I'm going to do that for this one. So that's going to be my main piece. And then I thought, but what about the piece that goes over the top for the 8 by 12? So 8 by 12 means it's 8 this way and 12 this way. Okay, so like I could have it going at the top and flipping up, but I'm actually going to have mine at the side and flipping across. Okay, so that's the way I want it to. And I'm going to pull one of these out and pop that to, because I'm kind of going to work on this gradually. I've only got a basic idea in my head of what I'm trying to achieve today. So you guys are going to be the first ones to see it, because I'm not going to have any idea until it's actually done of how it's going to turn out. But that's okay. That's the same as most of my cards. All right. So you can see straight away, you can see which side has the adhesive. Okay. So this side here is the sticky side, and that when we're finished, I'm not going to take the back off yet, but that side is going to go down. You could do these on the actual paper if you like, but I've been doing mine on my page protectors. Okay, so I'm trying to get an idea of how I want this to go and with the colors. So if I'm going to have these on the outside, so let's go with the portrait ones first. I'm going to have this one at the top because there's less going on down here in the bottom, so that's the one that's going to overlap. Okay, so I don't mind hiding this bit of the bottom there because I'm thinking that they're probably going to go about there. Okay, I might zoom out a little bit so you can see this better because I feel like I'm... All right, so I'm thinking, okay, what colors do I want to use? So the colors that I decided to go with the Mediterranean Blooms paper because I really, really like this paper. And I think it's a little bit busy, which I think works well for a Mexico theme, okay? And I'm going to be using the sides, I guess you would call these the B sides, that have all the blues, okay? I'm not using the sides that have all the yellows for the most part, okay? I could come in here and maybe use a little bit of this one, and maybe I will. I haven't decided yet. And I'm thinking I'm also going to add some lemons. I think might be a really nice accent on my page. So I've got this piece that I used the other day on Technique Tuesday, yesterday. Remember oh no, it's not that one. I used this on another piece from a couple of weeks ago. There's also this one here with the little flowers on it. Remember this card we made yesterday with the no line watercolor technique? That's also another one. So I've got some dies here that I think will be useful. I've got the citrus bloom dies that match this stamp set and this paper, and we'll come back to those. And if I'm going to do a title, like I have a word on my page, and I think I'd like to, I'm going to use the alphabet a la mode dies. Okay, so I'm going to come back to those as well. Okay, so at the moment I'm kind of gathering my supplies and deciding what's going to work and what's not going to work. Okay, so I'm going to have a basic white piece here, but what I hadn't decided was what color I wanted to have behind these. Okay, now I've got a few choices. I've got some Night of Navy paper. Obviously, this goes with what's in here. And I could have this behind here, put these pieces on a mat and include some paper from our stamp set here. That would look really nice. That will work, okay? Another option would be, and I think this is part of the problem with scrapbooking, is there's so many options, okay? And that's why I think a lot of people stay away from it, because it's just overwhelming how many choices you have. Can I just tell you, there is no right or wrong. You just go what you think looks good, what feels well, what feels like it will work, okay? So I would give you that little bit of advice. Now, another option, also in this paper, we have Balmy Blue, okay? So we could add some Balmy Blue here. I could put maybe a Night of Navy matte behind my photos, or not have a mat at all, and pop these, you know, on here somewhere, and that's going to look nice with the Balmy Blue. Especially if I decide, and I do rather like this, this is a piece of paper, like I said, that's left over. Let's see how wide this is. I'm going to go with inches. Whoops, just dropped the photos off. I'll just remember that my photos just fell off the desk, okay? Remind me if I'm looking for them later that that's what's happened. This is 21 centimeters wide, which is actually the same width as a sheet of A4 paper, or 8 1/4 inches. That's what that is. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be about right. And I'm thinking about putting it right here, kind of in the middle of my page, a little bit more room of white up the top here. And then I would have, so that would be underneath, and then I would have this, if I'm going to go with Balmy Blue, that about here. So you'd have a little bit of this popping out. Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking about at the moment. All right, but I definitely want to add some of this paper. All right, so I can add the paper on top of the Balmy Blue. I could just add the paper by itself if I wanted to, but I feel like that's maybe a little busy. So maybe not. But there's one more option that I haven't actually tried yet, and I don't know how this is going to look. We know this paper with all these navy and white and the Balmy Blue and the boho blue, all those colors, that's really lovely. Okay, looks great. And this one to me looks like it could be kind of a bit of a Mexican design, like Mexican crockery or something like that. Oh, it's chilly in Edmonton, Marlene. Well, nice to have you with us anyway. You miss flip-flop. Oh, are you talking about flip-flops or flip-flaps? Flip-flops are a different thing altogether, right? They're what we stick on our feet, whereas flip-flaps are these fabulous plastic thingies. All right, so I'm thinking about that, but because of all the green, the bluey green, I was also thinking we could introduce some summer splash. Now that might look really nice. So let me pull that in. And I do have summer splash in 12 by 12. It's in our in color packs. So if I was going to throw that in and then add that as an extra color, that might work because of the photos. Can I suggest to you, when you are scrapbooking, there are two ways to go about it. You can start with the photos, or you can start with the design and the colors. Okay, I prefer to start with the photos. All right, so I'm just giving this a bit of an idea. So that would be sticking out there. That would be there. the other option is I use this color as a matte because it is quite different to the other colors that are in the pack. So I'm still making that choice. This might be good for matting. Don't know. But I do want to bring it in because we've got so much of the summer splash color in the photos. So here's one of the photos that fell off. Let me just find the other one. I saw them both take a dive. Give me a second. All right. So I'm thinking maybe that's too much as a panel, but it might be nice for a matte. So let's give it a try. The other thing we could do is add it for our lettering. When I get to the lettering, I had originally thought to do balmy blue for the lettering, but do I ever double matte? Not usually. And in fact, sometimes I don't matte at all, Ronnie. Sometimes I put a photo straight down. But that's just, it's a personal choice. Anyway, let's go ahead. I'm going to make a decision. I have a friend, a wonderful friend who I've known for many, many years. And she used to say it in a little bit of a, well, I'll say it's a crude way, but it's I won't use the language that she uses, but she basically says, stick the thingy. She doesn't say thingy, but stick the thingy down, okay? Because sometimes we spend so much time trying to make a decision, we just can't seem to get anywhere, okay? So I'm going to just make a decision, and I'm going to go with the balmy blue, but I am going to do my mattes in Summer Splash. So the other option is I go with the navy. So I could still do that as well. Let me see. All right. So these photos are 6x4, just standard size. So I'm actually going to put my cardstock in the long side here. And because everything is in inches when it comes to scrapbooking and 12x12 paper, it's just easier to stay that way. So I'm putting this in at 6 1/4 inches. So it's going to be 1/4 of an inch wider. And then the length is going to be 4 1/4. And this will be a nice mat for my photos. Can you see how nicely that pulls the colors together? That looks really rather good, doesn't it? So that, I'm happy with that. And I'm going to do the same again, another 4 1/4. Actually, Denise, you're live this afternoon, aren't you? 3 o'clock, is it? If anyone wants to watch another great video this afternoon, Denise will be live at 3. All right, so I'm going to pop that one on there. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm just making a decision, and I'm going to stick these down. Now, you can use tape. Tape is very popular for scrapbookers, or you can use any adhesive, seal, Tombow like I'm using right now. This one is almost ended. Let me see how we go. I go through a lot of Tombow. So because this is exactly 1/4 of an inch on either side, it's the perfect matte size. Like so. And then this one here. So, you know, it's up to you. Sometimes I like the look of one on a mat and one not on a mat. That's sometimes, oh, come on, Tombow. Sometimes I prefer the one on, one off look. You are fantastic. You can't put links here, otherwise I'd tell you to do that, but you can't put links in because I've got it locked down that no one can add links. And I do that so that the wrong kind of people can't add their stupid scam links that they like to stick in comments. So yeah, I've got that set up that way. All right, so this is looking rather cool already, right? And I'm thinking about what colors I want to have behind here. I'm thinking maybe, even though I really like this one's maybe a little busy. So maybe I'll go with this one. And I'm going to, this is the same width because it's 12x12 as well. And I'm going to do a 3 or 4, no, 3 inches wide. And I'm just going to have that going straight down the side here. Now, the other thing is underneath the flip flap, we could have more underneath if we wanted to. So I wanted to add more photos. I can. Okay, so this is, it's kind of cool, right? And then we could have, you know, we could put, I could do a journaling block right here if I wanted to. I could write something directly on, but I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm just going to stick this down. And I'm going to grab a new Tombow, I think, because I'm tired of wrestling with the old one. Let's see if this one's any better. Yeah, I feel like this one's a bit better. So everyone's gone very quiet. You're all busy watching. I'm making this probably about a bit more than half an inch, 3/4 of an inch from the edge. You could go all the way to the edge if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to have this one right about here. And this one right about here. Like so. If anyone wants me to whisper the word that my friend says, stick the, you can insert, you know, whatever word you like, but that's what she says. So we'll just say, I'll put this one down first because I want this one to be underneath. Yeah, we'll just say, use your imagination. Oh, you can't comment on you. Why can you not comment on YouTube? That is weird. Huh. Let me go and quickly look and see if there's a reason for that. Why can't you comment on YouTube? Interesting. I don't know what the reason is. I'm so sorry. All right. So I'm going to pop that right about there. I'm not going to push it down too hard because I want to make sure I've got them in the right place before their final resting place, if you like. I've got this about 1 centimetre up from the bottom and that one's about 1 centimetre down from the top. That's kind of cute. All right, so I will be doing more with this. I'm probably going to add some elements in here, but for now I'm just going to pop this in here so you kind of get a feel for it, and then we'll start on the bottom piece. Stick it in the pocket. Come on. Doesn't want to go in, does it? There it is. You do want them to be a firm fit, so you might need to wriggle it in. You don't want it to be, you know, flopping around in there because it's too loose. So you do want it to firmly fit, and so you might need to sort of squeeze it in. All right, and so on. I might even cut that down a tiny bit. We'll see. But anyway, it's going to give me an idea, okay, of how this is going to look. That's going to end up right about there. And then I start working on what's going on underneath. All right, so that's kind of how that's going to look. Does that make sense, what we're doing? Oh, it's all YouTube. Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's really interesting. Ronnie, when you started commenting, is anyone else having problems commenting? That would explain why it's quiet. All right, so I'm thinking about this. I want to have this piece here. Like I said, this is 8 1/4 or thereabouts. Okay, but it doesn't really matter. This is just the leftover scrap I had from something, and so I am using it, whatever size it is. I quite often do that. All right, so then I'm going to be leveling this off here on this side, but I'd like about the same amount of distance. So it's probably about 1 1/4 here and here, thereabouts. Is that right? I should pull my ruler out and see if it is. But so it means I'm taking about 1 inch off this end. So let me just grab 1 inch here. Right, so it's now, this piece is 8 1/4 by 11. There you go, 8 1/4 by 11, which is very similar to US letter size. So that's this piece here, and I'm going to have it kind of down here. And I've got it so that there's a bit more space at the top, because that's probably where I'm going to do my lettering. All right, I'll grab out my photos. So these are my photos, and I can decide whether I want to pop these on a mat as well. I think I probably will. I'm going to go this way. Have that bit of water overlapped there, like so. It stopped allowing you to comment yesterday, Tanya. That's so weird. Huh. You can probably still comment on Facebook, but you'd probably rather be on YouTube. It's just you. How weird. Huh. So strange. All right. Okay. So that's kind of how I'm thinking. Now, the question is, do I want to have a matte under this? This one doesn't have much of that summer splash color in it. So I don't know if I even want that one to matte, but this one does. So maybe I'll have a matte on one and not the other. So maybe let's have a look. I need another piece of summer splash for that. And the main reason I'm doing that is to kind of have a bit of continuity between the flip flap bit and like the flat bit and the actual piece. So I'm going to go 4 1/4, open up my trimmer, and 6 1/4, which is right there, almost in the gap of the trimmer, almost. And let's pop that on there. And then I'm thinking that also, having that summer splash piece there is also going to highlight, you know, like actually frame that off from that photo as well. So I might actually have it like that. All right, now we get to have a little bit of a play and decide what other things we would like. It's always, was today the day Margaret was going to Barrel to go dress shopping? I think it was. I think that's why I haven't seen her yet. I know, that's weird, Tanya. So weird. You have to be signed in. Yeah, I did know that. All right, I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to pop this onto my mat. And I'm just going to pop that right on there. Now, I haven't glued this down yet because I haven't decided if I want to have anything underneath, you know, like some sponging or maybe some elements that come down. And quite often I like to do a little bit of stamping on this piece. Now, the Citrus Blooms stamp set, give me a second, where is it? Here it is, put it away. The Citrus Blooms stamp set has this great little stamp. It's got like little diamonds, and I don't know if you can notice, but these little diamonds are the same as the ones here in the paper. Okay, so that's a really good match. All right, so that's something we could do. I could also cut out some of these. You've seen me use these quite a bit this week. Citrus Blooms is great for lots of different things, but there's also these fabulous papers in the Citrus Blooms, the Mediterranean Blooms stamps, DSP. It's called Mediterranean Blooms, and these match up with some of our dies. So let me grab the dies out. Here they are. There's some really nice dies in this set. I don't know if you've seen them before. There's like a couple of pages. You've got this big panel that's just nice to do on all sorts of things, and then you've got the decorative panel that cuts out the foliage and makes a nice frame. So for example, I've already done one of these just in advance, and that's how that looks. And we could add this to our page. Look how nice it is. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful on a card, but also really, really nice on a scrapbook page. All right, so we may use that. Okay, that's that one. And then on the next page of these, you've got all these other ones, and you'll notice that these lemons and things, we have, where's one? All right, so there's, where does it go? No, not that one. Not that one. No, that's the oranges ones. This is the lemons ones. Hang on, I've got the wrong ones, you guys. It's not that. It's not that paper at all. Not that paper at all. Hang on a second. I've got the wrong paper. I like the lemons. You could fussy cut them. Here it is. It's the oranges. That's what it is, not lemons. But if I wanted lemons, let's see, like this. Here we go. I've got it facing up the wrong way. All right, so that's the double orange, and then you've got the single orange. See how nice these are? They match perfectly. So rather than stamping and spending a lot of time with that, I'm actually thinking about cutting out a couple of these. I had been thinking about lemons though. I don't know. I was more interested in using the yellows with this because I really like it. But what do you think? Should we cut oranges instead? I mean, they're still nice, but I'm tempted to do a lemon. What do you guys think? If I do a lemon, I have to cut it. I have to fussy cut it. And that's okay. I don't mind. But you guys might not want to me to sit here and fussy cut. You might have other ideas in your head that you would like me to do instead. Right, so I'm just going to move this around and see if I want to play with this a little bit. So this is a possibility. See how that kind of makes a nice little corner there? So that's kind of interesting. And then you could actually do a second one and have a second corner over here. That would be nice. Do whatever takes your fancy. Well, that's the mind boggles, really. And Katrina's trying to give you some advice, Tanya, about what to do with. So Katrina had to leave Facebook altogether and go on YouTube. Don't use the link from Facebook. It won't let you comment, if that helps. Huh. That's interesting. That is interesting. Well, now that we've got these out, maybe I do a combination. Can I give you a tip about cutting these? If I decide I want to use, one of the single oranges, rather than cutting the paper, because only 6 inches of width will go through your cut and emboss machine, okay, unless you've got one of those fancy 12 by 12 ones that are out there somewhere. But if you've got the cut and emboss machine that we have, it only manages 6-inch wide paper. So rather than cut this in half and cut all these lovely oranges in half, I prefer to find one not too far from the edge and cut around it. Now, obviously, if we're cutting it out by hand, it's not going to matter anyway. But I would do that rather than cutting all my oranges in half by cutting the paper down the middle. So I'm going to pop this out. I'm actually going to cut. I'm going to cut this out with my cut and emboss machine and whack that through and make sure that that looks really good. And that's going to cut some time down because I'm not fussy cutting this one. And it does have yellow in it as well because the flowers are yellow. So I'm thinking, something like that is quite nice. And I did think about cutting out some letters in, and I still might, in with my a la mode dies, the alphabet a la mode, because those are really cool for scrapbook pages. I like them a lot. And I'm going to very quickly, I hope I don't bore anybody, but I am very quickly going to cut one of my single lemons. So I'm just freeing a single lemon. So it's much easier if you're going to fussy cut. It is much easier to do it with a smaller piece of paper. If you've got a great big 12 by 12 piece of paper in your hand while you're trying to fussy cutting, you're making it really difficult for yourself. It's much easier to use a little piece. So let's get that happening. For anyone who's in Australia, if you're a demonstrator, that on-stage registration for Brisbane next March, on-stage registration began today and it's open now. So you can register from now. So did anyone forget? Change the color of the oranges to yellow. They would look like Maya lemons. They would. I know, right? I'm so excited. We have so many nice baby lemons on our tree this year for the first time since we moved in nearly 5 years ago, and I'm so excited for it to happen. All right. I'm going to cut that out. Now this flower, I thought it had a pointy petal, but it actually is rounded. When you're cutting, when you're fussy cutting, here's a couple of tips for you. Try as much as possible to move your paper more than you move your scissors. So you'll see I'm turning the paper around for the corners rather than trying to turn my scissors, and it gives you a smoother line. Also leave a little gap between the drawing or the image you're trying to cut out and the cut line, because if you do that you get, can you see I've left a little gap, a little border here, and it just it gives you more room for error, and it's also so more forgiving, but it's also a really nice look. It gives everything a little bordery outline, which is really nice. All right, try and not go too slowly for you. So a show of hands, who has never scrapbooked? Anybody? Or would like to but doesn't know where to start? And I get that that's really overwhelming. Totally understand. Especially this kind of scrapbooking where you're just, slapping photos down and finding paper to match and, kind of doing it from scratch. I get it. On the other hand, if you are just beginning, we have some fantastic new scrapbooking workshop kits. And what those are, they're already done for you in that you have the paper and then there's matching stickers, but then there's also matching cardstock and everything is already pre-matched, and it makes it so much easier. Oh my goodness. Whoops, I just kind of cut in the wrong place there, but that's okay. I'll fix it in a second. No problem, Sheila. No problem at all. You've registered, Deborah. That's awesome. Yeah, I have this theory, and I tell my girls this. If you are a demonstrator, you owe it to yourself to try and get to on stage, even if it's just once, okay? Because it's a perk, an absolute perk of being a demonstrator. And if you don't actually strive to be part of it, you miss out on so much. And I think it's just a really fun thing, even if you're not sticking around forever, a really fun thing to treat yourself to an onstage just once. Onstage is basically a big crafty meetup, and it's so good because you get other crafty ladies together and you're all into the same stuff, and it's just, you've already got this common ground, right? It's fantastic. And I have made so many friends through attending Stampin' Up events over the years, and I am so grateful for them. Absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure some of the girls in the comments would be thinking the same thing, if not saying the same thing. That conventions, as we used to call them convention, now they call it on stage, but it is like the old style conventions. It is a 3-day event. All right. So I'm thinking that this one might be good. This one might be good on here. What do we think about that idea? All right. And then I think a little bit of sponging maybe under that as well. So I'm going to come back to that. All right. And I'm deciding I'm going to cut out some letters, and maybe we'll put a block here for journaling, like to write something about what we were doing. You don't have to have journaling on every project, but I am a big believer in writing at least the date and the time and that kind of stuff down. Okay, so you've got some memories, that you can come back to. I do actually have another one of these that I cut out with that, but I don't think that's right. No, it could work. It could work, but I don't know that I want it there. I think maybe a smaller journaling block would be good. All right, so I'm going to pull out my Alphabet a la Mode dies. Hello, Judy. Nice to see you. All right, so these are the Alphabet a la Mode dies. And they're great because you can use them on cards, of course, but they're fantastic for scrapbooking. And they're like quite a thin. We've also, the other one that we've got are the little ones, and I didn't want to use those on this page. Let me quickly grab them. Those ones are called, they're M for mini alphabet, I think, from memory. Mini alphabet dies, that's right. And those are different. These ones, I do use them on scrapbook pages, but I don't want them on this one. They're little. See that? Oh, I've still got some cardstock in there. But this is one big die from A to Z, and it does multiples of the more, like 2 of the more common letters. But you whip it through, and then you've got all the letters, and you can make your words out of those. So those are a bit of fun. I like them. But today I'm going to just do, what am I doing? Okay, I need an X. And I'm going to need an M. Not in this order, obviously. An E. X. I. C. O. There we go. Mexico. All right, I'm going to cut those out with my cut and emboss machine, and I'm going to be right back. And I have made the decision to go with the lighter color, the balmy blue. So, you know, but I could have picked any of the colors that we're working with. Navy would work. The Summer Splash would work. We really could use any. I'm not lining them up on this piece of paper. I'm just cutting them. You've got to bear in mind I've got nothing stuck down yet. Now, if you're thinking, I don't know how to design a scrapbook page, like how do I choose the layout? How do I look through Pinterest or go online or look at an old scrapbooking magazine and find a layout that you like and copy it, okay? Literally. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to copy this one, go for it, all right? There's nothing wrong with copying other people's scrapbooking ideas, because by the time you add your photos, change the colors to suit, and pick different papers and all the different elements, it's going to look totally different, okay? And it's going to end up being a fabulous way for you to some of these are stuck in their little letters, so I'm going to use this. It's a fabulous way for you to store your memories, and that's the whole point, okay? So don't ever worry about, I have a Pinterest board where I store scrapbooking layouts that I really like, and then quite often if I'm stuck for an idea, I'll go to that board and I'll find one I really enjoy looking at and change it to suit my photos. Right, now here's the thing. When I'm putting this together, it looks fine, but I need to remember that when I put my flip flap on later, okay, it's going to be about there, and there's going to be things sticking out. Am I okay with this sticking out, or do I want to have my letters hiding behind the flip flap? Maybe. Let's have a look at that. So that's going to be, so if this is 8, that means that we've got 4 inches left. So if I put this on my glass mat like I have right now, okay, so I'm just putting it right here, the inches for my glass mat, because I have a metric one, so my inches are at the top, okay? So there's the 4-inch mark. That's where the flip flap is going to come to. So if I want to have this so it's hidden, I'll put all my letters to this side of that 4-inch mark. And yes, I know someone, if Cherie's not watching, she always rouses on me nicely, you know, but now I don't really want it in the middle. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to move this over. So I'm going to bring it over this side, because then it won't show for sure. Like my instinct was to put it on this end, but because I don't want it to show when I have the flip flap. So you do need to think about the fact that your flip flap is going to be in action, and therefore we don't want to. All right, so I'm actually okay with this. I think that that's looking like I want it to. I'm just going to put, one thing I do want to give you a bit of a warning about with these letters is you make sure every time you use them, either you dump them afterwards in, if you have a mechanics tray like I do, you can dump them all in there and then put them away later. You can see I've got some magnets in there. Or you can put them straight back in the pack, because otherwise they will get lost, and an alphabet set with letters missing is pretty much useless. So you really want to make sure that you put them away when you're done. I need to put them on magnet sheets actually. All right. I'm liking how this is going. I am actually going to put some, I don't have my adhesive sheets, but I'm going to put these here. I will tell you, here's a sneaky little thing that, I mean, I'm a bit scared of adhesive sheets. I need to use them more. And clearly I've had a couple of bad experiences where I did them completely wrong and stuck it on the wrong side and yeah, messed it up totally. And it's kind of put me off using them. So that's why I don't use them often as often as I should. That's my honest confession to you. All right, so I'm going to put these, and while I've got this piece here, I'm going to make sure that that's straight. Yep, that looks pretty good. And then these are going to go a couple of millimeters just above that. Okay, so that means that if I'm going to have this a couple of millimeters above, that it's also giving me a guide where this piece is going to need to be glued in place once I get to that. And I'm just popping them down with a couple of dots of glue here and there. I'm not putting glue all the way behind. I'm just doing like a couple of dots at the top. The X, 2 dots at the top, 1 in the middle, well actually 2 in the middle, and then 2 at the bottom. All right, that's how I want that to go. Now, even though this Summer Splash isn't in this Mediterranean Blooms paper, I really like how the introduction of that color brings the photos into it quite nicely. And I think it's working. The white, I'm just going with come on, straighten that back up. I'm going to stand up. Now, when you are trying to lay things out on a 12 by 12 piece, standing up and getting over the top of your work is a really, really good thing to do, because it can be really hard to see what you're doing if you don't do that. So, a couple of dots. And the last one is the O. And this is when I look down and think, oh gosh, I hope I spelled it right. But yeah, I think I did. Okay, looking good. Sticking with just a few colors is also a good tip too. So let's move these off, and I'm going to put this piece on. I'm going to whack the glue down. You can see why I didn't use this side. It's just way too busy. And this all over pattern in just the blue and white is a good background because it's not going to compete with our photos. Think about that when you're using papers. It's not just about getting the colors right. It's also about not, choosing your patterns carefully. You want patterns that highlight and complement, but don't compete. All right, liking that. You use your tea roller. Yeah, that's a great idea, Sheila. Really, really good. Cherie, hi. Did you hear me using your name in vain a moment ago? All right, so this one's going to go here, and this one's going to go here. So I've only got the one mat. I'm not doing both. And I'm going to, actually, before I put that down, the first thing I need to think about is, do I want to use, I mean, I could just have this, but I feel like having this little corner piece here, and I want to have it so that you can just see the corners. What do you guys think? I think that looks kind of cool. So I'm going to put this piece down first. if you don't want all the leaves and things, you could just, you know, use a piece that you've cut like so. And I'm just going to do a few dotty bits. I'm not putting it everywhere, because you just want to hold it in place. And in part, it's going to be held in place by the photos, to be honest. Move them out of the way. And then I'm going to have that about there. Let me double check before it sticks down. No, a little bit higher. And then this one, like so. Right, I think that's about right. So I'm going to, it's down. I'm going to have this one on top of that, and then the one with the mat over the top of both. So I thought I'd have Mexico by the pool. That's what I thought would be, because this is all poolside shots. So, and I did say I was going to maybe do some sponging or something over in this corner. I don't know if I will. Might keep it pretty simple today. Nothing wrong with simple. In fact, simple is good if you don't want your photos to, you want your photos to be the focus, right? You don't want to get to a point where you're adding so much to your page that it becomes cluttered and overwhelming, and yeah, that's not what you want. All right, so all right, what did I do with my lemon? The one that I actually painstakingly cut out. It must be with all this paper here somewhere, so give me a second and I shall find it. And if I can't find it, then I guess I'll be adding it on at the end and taking a photo. Anyone see where it went? We all saw me cut it out, right? Seriously. Well, this is very typical. You know how it is for me. I can't help myself. I lose something pretty much every single live. But I prefer not to lose things that I've actually spent a lot of time cutting out. I'm looking to see if I dropped it on the floor. Yeah. You think I took it to my left? Okay, let's have a look and see. I've got a few things that I've put down over here, so maybe let's have a look and see. Now, here's a couple of ideas. Well, I can't find that, but I will find it. It's going to show up when I clean my desk up after this live. It's going to show up. Sometimes I find things inside stamp cases that I didn't mean to have in there, etc., etc. But no, not there. All right, so we could have a block here. Another option would be we could add a flip flap there. Okay, so you know the little 4x4 ones that we had earlier? Those would be really nice to add. And also, I'm just thinking about, let me see, if I put this here, I rather like it. I'm going to put that, now, here's an interesting thing. When it comes to adding dimensionals, okay, yes, Scotch double-sided tape, yep, different people use different things. So, Tombow most of the time, yeah, I'm a bit the same. If you're going to use dimensiony things on a scrapbook page, you probably don't want to go over the top too much, because you don't want to be adding too much bulk to your albums. Okay, so, and you usually can't see how much something is dimensional anyway. Okay, now I'm thinking, like I said, about adding a block here, and I'm just deciding if this is going to go on the outside. I'm actually going to cut this down ever so much. I'm going to take it out. After all the trouble I had putting it in, I'm actually going to just take a small amount, about 1/4 of an inch, off this edge. I just think it's going to fit in a little bit better. And I'm going to take, like, literally 1/8 of an inch, like a tiny, tiny amount of the top, just to make it slide in a little easier. I hope I haven't taken too much. You see it's sliding in easier this time, and I didn't take too much. It's not going to flop around in there. That's good. Okay, I do want to still have something here. That's where I was thinking about adding the lemons, but let's put this whole thing into a page protector. And we have page protectors again now. I'm so happy we have these. I've been buying, this one is the variety, sorry, not the variety, the 25 pack, the bulk pack. So this one, you have a lot of pages to work with. So, and they are top opening. So if I put that, I'm not done yet because I still want to add a block in there. Put that in here. This is what I wanted to show you about flip flaps and how they work. So we're going to put the whole thing in here. I'm going to grab my piece that's got the flip flap. The adhesive edge is going to go, actually I just realized I put it around the wrong way, haven't I? I have put it around the wrong way. Sorry. Okay, this is going to get folded over. Okay, so once it's folded over with the adhesive out there, okay, then the pocket here now is going to be on the inside. So I'm going to be sticking that the different way. So the pocket is actually underneath in this case. So I'm going to take this off. Just give me a second. That's the hardest thing I've done all day, is get the backing off that. And it wants to stick on me. I'm going to have that right along that edge. So I'm lining up the edges before I try and stick it down, because once I stick it down, it's down. Oh, did I get it in the right place? Pretty close. I'm going to, thankfully it's on plastic, it's not on cardstock. I'm just going to move that over a tiny bit. All right. Okay, now I can put it in the pocket under here. All right. So you can see now I've also got this piece here on the back. I could decorate this up as well. Okay. But now I have my flip flap and I have this piece, and I would like to have, like I said, something going on here. So one of my very popular shapes for adding blocks here are the Nested Essentials dies. I think you guys have probably come across those. They are fantastic and would provide a really good piece to go in there, and it's got a rounded edge. So the largest one I think would be the one I'd use, this one. All right. So that piece there would go inside, like glued down to my blue and white paper, and that would be a great little journaling block. Okay. I also could use other things. I could use, you know, the tags from this set. These are really nice as well. So those would be really good. So you can see you've got a few options of things that you could add to this to write on. Write a little story about, you know, what it was like hanging by the pool in Mexico or something like that. All right. Now, before I do this, I am actually going to add a tiny, tiny bit of journaling to this. Let me just grab one of my journaling pens if I have one handy. I absolutely love our journaling pens, but unfortunately we don't sell them currently. I'm really hoping that that is something that is going to make a welcome return. I think that would be fantastic. I'll make sure this one is working. The back of this, just so, yep, it's good. Just add a pull, and then I'm going to have my white block here, and that's how that is going to go. I will cut that up and write on it after this video, so you don't need to see me writing. So I may do something still with this. The other thing that would be nice is if I added some more of the DSP down here. I could add more photos. I could write something. I could do all sorts of things. But you can see now that we've added our flip flaps here to a very simple page. Okay. I'm just looking to see if anyone's written any comments or any questions that I need to answer. I don't know what I did with it. I want to add it, definitely. So you'll see it show up again, because once I clean off my desk, once this video is finished, I will, just looking under my computer. Can't see it. Can't see it. But it's here somewhere, because I just cut it out, so it didn't go too far away. All right. How do we do today? Did everyone enjoy that? I didn't do a lot of extra stamping. I didn't do a lot of, like, you know, I sometimes like to add some different things in the corners. I've kept it really, really simple. But just making all the decisions, I think, is what makes scrapbooking take longer. It's definitely harder when you've got to decide what goes where and what colors you want to use, and do we want to have stamps, do we not? You know, just all those things make scrapbooking take longer than it probably should, because really this is very simple. Oh, that's okay. Do I print my photos up? No, I actually take them down. I either go down to Kmart or Officeworks and stick, you know, attach my phone into the little photo booth thing and print them out from there. So I do have, I haven't used it for a long time. I do have an old, what is it, Kodak Selfie to do, and I haven't used it for a number of years. So I need to pull it out again and see if it still works. Yeah, I usually go and get them done. What other questions do we have? Anything? Marty had a good question, so I've answered that one. I'm looking. No, not in the mechanics bowl, but thank you for suggesting that. I was thinking, was it under the mechanics bowl? But no, it doesn't seem to be. I've got this. This is where I cut it out from. I just don't have the thing I cut. So I'll find it the second this is over. I know it's going to show up, and then I'll be like, eh. But once I find it, I will put it, I'll take a photo and show you the final result. How about that? Does that make sense? And I'm probably going to do, you're probably going to see a little bit of something going on over here in this corner. I'm not sure what yet. All right, you guys. So I guess the takeaways from today are under the page. No, it's not. Is it under the glass mat? No, it's not. I don't know. It makes no sense to me at all where that might have gone. It's like disappeared off the face of the earth for now. All right, next one, scrapbooking. I'm going to be coming back to a scrapbooking workshop kit, and we're going to be doing some fun stuff with that. I've already got the kit, and I just need to match up with the photos I want to use, and that's what we'll be coming back to. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, Donna. I know. Well, we didn't want it to be Mediterranean. We wanted it to be Central American, really, didn't we? But yes, I do actually have, when we did go to the Mediterranean back in 2016, I'd like to now redo all those photos with this gorgeous paper, because it's just stunning. Oh, that's no trouble. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Marty. Tell Judy Estrada it was Joy to the World, the music in the embossing folder. That's what it was. Joy to the world. Judy, did you get that message from Tanya? Do I always use the same? No, sometimes I use seal. Sometimes I use tape. I really kind of go between them. The thing I don't like about tape, I love tape for, you know, it's you know, nice for doing straight lines and so forth. But the reason I don't use tape as often is because two things. I don't like all the little bits of paper that are left over once you discard them from the tape. I mean, I have enough. I already have a war on dimensional backs, let alone, you know, tape backs as well. But also I find sometimes it's really hard to get the backing off. And when that happens, it drives me crazy. So those two reasons mean I don't use tape probably as often. Oh, I didn't know that, Cherie. Cherie just told us that Mexico is the 4th largest orange exporter in the world, so it's very appropriate. Well, isn't that awesome? And we have an orange. Yay. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. I think this is actually going to look a lot better when I get this journaling piece in and write down what I want to say on the journaling. So I think that'll add quite a bit to it. Will the glue be okay at time on the photos? Yes. Here's something else. Once upon a time, we would have been very, very careful to use only photo safe stuff on our photos. Acid free was a big thing. Creative memories really taught us a lot about memory keeping in the way that, there are certain things you don't use with memory keeping. But that was back when, or originally it all started because it was when we had precious photos that had been, you took a photo and then you had to go to the chemist or wherever you got your photos developed, wait for a week and then get them back again. And you might be lucky to get 2 good photos out of the batch, right? These days, everyone's got photos on their phones. You've got photos on your digital cameras that, you can go and print out 1 million of them if you want to. It is not like it used to be where we're all being so careful about saving our photos. Now, if you're working with very old photos, that might not be the case. But, it's just one of those things that it has changed. Having access to digital photos has really changed the way we scrapbook. So once upon a time, super being careful about your memory keeping was really, really important. These days, not so much. So it's really, photos turned yellow from the old style picture albums. I know, right? Yeah, and you can get copies of old photos as well, Marty. You're absolutely right. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Actually, speaking of Mexico, not actually Mexico itself, but Southern California, close to the Mexican border, I watched a movie last night with my husband. It's called McFarland USA. Has anyone seen it? It's an old Kevin Costner movie from 2015. And if you're looking for a really great feel-good movie, I thoroughly recommend it to you. We loved it. It was really, really great. It's about a football coach who loses his job and goes down to southern Mexico because it's the only place he can get employment, and ends up coaching a running team. And it's super, super good. One of those feel-good movies. If you're looking for it, it's on Disney or Disney Plus if you've got that, or you might be lucky to find it, online somewhere else. So there you go. So if anyone's looking for a good movie to watch, a good feel-good movie that's suitable for a family watch, McFarland USA. It is a lot of juice. Oh my goodness. That is huge. All right, you guys. I am going to head off. Let me come back and look at you in the eye. Here I am. I hope that everyone enjoyed that. Even though we didn't completely finish it, I hope that you got a bit of an idea what flip flaps are all about, how they work, how you can add extra photos to a page. So even though this is only a single page layout, it's got all these extra photos on it and they're not overcrowded. Okay, it's a great way of using your space well for more photos. So that's really what we are trying to do. I hope everyone has a great couple of days. I'll be back on Friday evening, of course, Friday night live at 7:30 Sydney time. I know for our North American girls, that's the middle of the night and it's not great. For those of you who are interested, I've got a Zoom class coming up later in this month. And if you have access to Zoom and would like to join us for the class, we are doing the Happy Hibiscus. I did end up, did I leave it close by? I did that card yesterday. No, I put it away. Oh no, here it is. Here it is. This is remember yesterday we did no line watercoloring, and this is the finished card after I finally put it all together. So this one is just, I think those hibiscuses are beautiful. If you love this bundle and you'd like to do a Zoom with me, you'll need the bundle to do the Zoom, but you can do the Zoom no matter where in the world you are. You can pay $15 and do the Zoom. It'll be at 2 p.m., which is only 15 minutes from this time right now, but on the 21st of November, okay, Sydney time. So that would be the 20th of November for those of you who are in North America, because of course we are in the future. Oh, you like the page? That's great, Cherie. Excellent. All right, you guys. And thanks, Maureen, as well. Thanks, everyone, for watching along today. I hope you've had a really fun day, and I'll see you all again, hopefully on Friday night. See you soon. Bye-bye.